Mental Wellness Essay Blog, July 2026. A journey through trauma, philosophical isolation, the healing power of music, and the tenacious choice to live. Part 1. Introduction to the Architecture of a Beautiful Rambling Mind. Today's date is July 18th, 2026. 2 days after my 42nd birthday. I am sitting down to write this video blog update with a deliberate goal in mind, to take the massive amount of non-linear, rambling torrent of thoughts that are inside my head and synthesize them into something coherent and informative. For anyone who has followed my journey across the many hours of video essays, you know that my mind never seems to be able to sit still and simply relax. Instead, I am permanently consumed by a vast, interconnected web of philosophy, psychology, theology, sociology, history, science, politics, piano, painting, war history, the current wars around the world, specifically the wars in Ukraine and Iran, as well as all of the tragic suffering caused by the Nazis and the Holocaust, plus the millions of things I write about and think about daily, alongside countless other infinitely fascinating hobbies and interests that I pursue. Sometimes, the nature of these video essays have been an intense, consuming confusion and a bitter anger. For years, I was outrageously depressed and angry at seemingly everything. The world, everyone around me, the fragility of human life, the corrupt nature of some human beings, the grotesque evil of the world, and even the failure of my own parents to properly nurture, protect, and take care of me. I will carry that raw, intense fury close to my chest for the rest of my life. But there is hope. Some genuinely good developments have occurred in my life lately. And so, as I cross the threshold into my 42nd year alive on this marvelous planet Earth that we all share, I sense that something fundamental is shifting in my mind and spirit. The overarching message I have to report today is incredibly positive. Despite the severe physical and mental struggles that still define my daily existence, I am winning. I am choosing life, and the momentum is finally moving forward. Part 2. The anatomy of trauma, dissociation, and the toll it takes on the mind and body. To understand how healing and recovery actually occur, it is necessary to examine the profound psychological terrain shaped by severe, repeated trauma. When a human being is subjected to environments that induce overwhelming terror, especially during the crucial developmental years of childhood, the resulting stress response is not a choice or a character flaw. It becomes a fundamentally altered baseline of reality, stemming from structural alterations within a delicate central nervous system that was forced to adapt under extreme conditions. When early development is marked by severe neglect, abandonment, or abuse, the nervous system adapts for survival rather than safety, preventing the brain's regulatory pathways from developing in a balanced, healthy manner. In such cases, a person's baseline default can easily become a hypervigilant anticipation of danger or death. Without a conscious choice, anticipating worst-case scenarios becomes a primary, subconscious coping mechanism, an automatic attempt to navigate a world that feels inherently unsafe. Faced with unbearable levels of chronic pain or stress, the human brain inevitably adapts through various defense mechanisms, one of the most profound being severe dissociation. For decades, an individual's mind can manage overwhelming reality by simply tuning it out, learning to mentally disconnect from trauma even while actively living through it. This creates a terrifying psychological paradox. A primary symptom of severe trauma response is that the brain obscures the reality of the damage, allowing the individual to forget the depth of their suffering just to manage the daily weight of existing. To survive this invisible burden, human beings naturally seek out powerful external anchors and distractions. Whether it manifests as immersing oneself in media, seeking comfort in caring for companion animals, or diving into complex intellectual pursuits like philosophy, science, and academic research, these activities serve a vital purpose, offering the mind a safe space to focus its energy while the nervous system attempts to steady itself. So to survive, I found myself throwing all of my energy into heavy distractions: learning piano, playing piano, practicing piano, binge-watching true crime on YouTube, losing myself in expansive single-player video games, caring for my 2 little puppies. And of course, because I'm a nerd, studying complex philosophy, advanced scientific concepts, and tackling the hardest academic questions known to man. Part 3. Traumatic generational echoes and learned helplessness. The roots of profound psychological damage often trace back directly to early family dynamics and generational conditioning. Raising a healthy human being requires a foundation of consistent love, support, and emotional regulation provided by compassionate, cooperative caregivers. In my own life, while I know my mother did the absolute best she could with the tools she had, the 2 primary father figures in my world were negligent and lacked compassion. When father figures or primary guardians remain entangled in their own unaddressed generational trauma, those unresolved wounds inevitably ripple downward, a cycle where the pain just rolls downhill. Instead of seeking professional therapy to break the cycle and become competent parents, broken adults inadvertently pass the burning torch of their own trauma directly to their children, leaving them to navigate an environment marked by emotional absence and cold indifference. Breaking these generational cycles requires an intentional, solemn decision. I made a conscious choice and a solemn vow never to treat my own children like that, choosing to use my lived pain as a blueprint for what not to repeat so that the next generation receives the safety and nurture they deserve. When emotional abandonment is severe, it frequently fosters a well-documented psychological state known as learned helplessness. A person can possess immense intellectual intelligence while simultaneously struggling with fractured emotional and social regulation, simply because self-preservation and self-love were never modeled or taught during development. In my experience, I didn't learn how to love or preserve myself correctly. Instead, I learned to sit passively in my brokenness, learning to stay small, quiet, and immobile within chronic pain rather than believing I possessed the agency to change my circumstances. In its most extreme forms, learned helplessness manifests as prolonged, daily suicidal ideation, a state where the brain desperately seeks escape from what feels like a permanent, unloved, and unsafe existence. For 20 years, this was my daily reality, waking up every morning feeling entirely unloved and in constant, imminent danger. This sense of isolation is often compounded when adult family systems continue patterns of indifference, emotional unavailability, or dismissal of an individual's hard-earned triumphs, such as when my own family flatly refused to watch the 3-hour documentary on surviving narcissistic marital abuse that I spent years pouring my soul into for the education of others. When a person feels consistently unseen by those who should care most, it is easy to fall into the trap of waiting for an external savior, hoping a relative or an outside force will step in to repair the damage, until the realization dawns that true recovery must be claimed from within. Part 4. The Seroquel pseudo-miracle and confronting physical pain. Real psychological and physical breakthroughs often begin when an individual directly confronts long-standing chemical dependencies and medical sedations. For over 15 years, spanning the prime of my life from age 25 to 40, I lived in a thick, medication-induced haze. For many living with chronic trauma, years or decades can be spent relying on prescription sedatives or antipsychotics like Seroquel to artificially override the terror of sleep and quiet an unbearable reality. While such medications offer temporary survival relief during acute crises, prolonged heavy sedation keeps a person emotionally muted and disconnected from their own physical body. When an individual safely transitions out of long-term psychiatric sedation, the sudden lifting of that haze can feel like a profound awakening. After making the radical decision to stop taking Seroquel, the result for me was nothing short of a miracle. For the first time in living memory, I am waking up naturally at dawn, enjoying the morning birds at my new feeders, taking a shower first thing every day, and completely overhauling my diet. Routines shift naturally, waking at dawn, engaging with the immediate environment, taking pride in daily hygiene, and cutting out junk food become tangible indicators of a recovering nervous system. The baseline metric for measuring relief from severe depression often comes down to these fundamental shifts: whether a person can consistently rise, care for their body, and actively participate in the morning. However, clearing a chemical haze frequently exposes the raw, underlying physical realities that were previously suppressed. Without heavy sedation masking my body's signals, I was forced to confront the fact that I wake up in excruciating daily physical pain from a severe, chronic digestive issue. When my ex-wife confirmed I suffered from these exact stomach issues almost every day during our marriage, it proved just how deeply my brain had buried my physical suffering. It is a well-documented phenomenon in trauma recovery that the mind can dissociate so deeply from physical suffering that a person lives with agonizing daily symptoms for years without processing them until an external wake-up call points it out. Confronting this hidden pain is precisely where a person actively dismantles the cycle of learned helplessness. While conditions like severe PTSD require profound, unconditional radical empathy, validating the nervous system's pain without judgment, overcoming learned helplessness demands decisive, accountable action. Through my clinical background, I recognized it was time to tell myself to stop sitting passively, step up as an adult, and utilize the VA healthcare network to find real medical answers. It requires recognizing adult agency, stepping beyond passive endurance, utilizing available healthcare networks, and seeking primary medical diagnostics to investigate root causes, whether they stem from lifestyle factors, chronic inflammation, or undiagnosed gastrointestinal conditions. Taking charge of one's physical health marks the ultimate rejection of passive suffering, replacing the desire for escape with a firm commitment to finding answers and restoring vitality.